Welcome to The Rise with Sterling Phoenix. This is the show for ambitious leaders and bold professionals who want clarity, momentum, and results without burning out. Let's go. Most people live their entire lives in the middle. Good enough jobs, good enough performance, good enough results. And you know what? The middle is safe. The middle is accessible. The middle keeps paychecks coming and LinkedIn profiles looking steady. But the middle is also really crowded, forgettable, replaceable. Then there are the few, the ones who break through, the ones who dominate markets, transform teams, shift entire industries, or leave legacies. People point to them and whisper, they must have some secret. They must be born different. But here's the truth. They're not. It's not raw talent. It's not luck. It's not even the resources. What separates the unforgettable from the forgettable is one thing, the margin. The edge between good and unbeatable. And if you're listening right now, I know something about you. You weren't built for the middle. You weren't built just to be good. You're here because somewhere inside you, you already know you were built for the edge. Here's the hard truth about why so many ambitious people get stuck in good instead of breaking into unbeatable. We've been lied to. Lied to by business culture, lied to by hustle culture, lied to by the way performance even gets measured. We're taught the only way to get ahead is to go harder, grind longer, push past exhaustion, outwork everyone in the room. But if effort alone created winners, then every single exhausted, burned out professional would be unbeatable by now. And they're not. I've seen too many people, maybe even you, grind themselves into dust, checking every box, burning through every ounce of energy, and still standing in the same spot year after year. The truth? The edge isn't about doing more. It's about doing what others miss. The margin is small, razor thin. The difference between second place and first place isn't a mountain. It's one decision, one boundary, one moment of clarity where everyone else defaults to noise. Unbeatable doesn't mean you do everything. It means you see what others don't and you act when the margin appears. That's the edge. I learned this the hard way. There was a stretch in my career where I thought hustle was the answer. I worked harder than anyone around me. I took on more projects than anyone asked for. I lived in the inbox, the calendar, the late night decks. And yes, I was good. I was reliable. I got the pats on the back, but I wasn't winning. I wasn't breaking through, and I wasn't moving from good to unstoppable. The turning point came when I finally asked a different question. Not, how do I do more, but where's the margin? What's the one move here that changes the game? That shift was like flipping a light switch. Instead of drowning in chaos, I started scanning for leverage. Instead of trying to out-hustle everyone, I started looking for the edge. The place where clarity beats effort every time. And here's the thing. Once you learn to see the margin, you can't unsee it. You realize the winners aren't superhuman. They just trained to look for what others ignore. That was the moment I stopped living in the middle and started playing at the edge. That's when I became dangerous. So, how do you find the margin? How do you build a life, a career, a business that doesn't get stuck in good but pushes into unbeatable? Well, here's the framework. First, clarity over chaos. Most people confuse motion with progress. They spin, they react, they chase every email, every meeting, every urgent thing. But the margin shows up when you stop reacting and start cutting through the noise. Ask yourself, what's the one decision here that actually moves the outcome? Unbeatable people aren't faster, they're clearer. Second, questions over assumptions. Good settles for what everyone else accepts. Good says, This is the way it's always done. Unbeatable asks, why? What if? What's missing? The edge lives in questions no one bothers to ask. Sometimes one sharp question can collapse months of wasted work. Third, systems over heroics. Good means doing it yourself, proving your worth by being the hero who saves the day. But heroes burn out. Unbeatable builds systems, processes, rhythms, habits, so the work compounds even when they step away. The margin is the point where you stop being the system and start building the system. Fourth, momentum over motivation. Good depends on hype, pep talks, coffee, and adrenaline, but motivation is fragile. Momentum is durable. Unbeatable people design rhythms that keep them moving on bad days, tired days, distracted days. The margin is in the habits that move you forward when motivation is gone. That's the framework: clarity, questions, systems, momentum. The edge isn't in giant leaps, it's the accumulation of small, smart margin decisions stacked until you're untouchable. Here's what I want you to hear. The difference between good and unbeatable isn't talent, it isn't luck, it isn't even time. It's just the margin. It's the moment you choose clarity instead of chaos. It's the moment when you ask the harder question. It's the moment when you build the system instead of trying to be the system. It's the moment when you keep moving when everyone else stops. That's where you win. Not in the middle, not in the noise, in the margin. Because anyone can be good. Good is crowded. Good is safe. Good is also forgotten. The margin, that's rare. The margin is sharp. The margin is where legends are made. So, if you're tired of grinding yourself to death just to stay average, stop already. If you're tired of proving your worth by exhaustion, stop. If you're tired of playing in the middle where you'll always be replaceable, step out. Find the margin. Live there. Own it. Because the edge between good and unbeatable, that's where clarity lives. That's where momentum compounds. That's where burnout dies. Be the margin. Be the edge. Be the one who rises. This is The Rise. I'm Sterling Phoenix. If this hit you, if you know you weren't built for the middle, if you're ready to live at the edge, then don't let this moment pass. Subscribe right now, because every time I'm here to bring you the clarity, the systems, and the fire to keep you in the margin and keep you unbeatable. Clarity, momentum, no burnout, that's the rise. And it starts with you.